Welcome to Homeschool Nolan, here to help you navigate learning in the digital age. Just the other day, I met up with an old friend who is now retired after working for many years at IBM. We talked about the tech industry and how the job market has changed. He's told me that if he were still working today, his priority would be to, quote, learn AI skills. That seems like sound advice given all the hype right now around artificial intelligence. But what exactly does it mean? Well, as someone who has been ramping up on AI myself this past year, I thought I'd share some advice and what I've learned this past year and offer some tips on how you can gain an edge when it comes to learning new job skills in artificial intelligence. But first, let's clarify what we mean by AI jobs. There are, of course, lots of many different jobs out there related to artificial intelligence. Whenever a new technology comes along, in my opinion, they usually create two broad categories of jobs. There are jobs for those who make the technology and jobs for those who know how to use the technology. Let's start with those who make the technology. These folks tend to be really smart researchers, mathematicians, and elite programmers who work at the big tech companies or well-funded startups. They are the ones who design new architectures and machine learning models. They also design the computer chips and hardware used to run AI systems. Now, these people tend to be among the best in the industry and are highly paid. Because they are elite, there aren't many of them. Now, most AI tech workers, including myself, tend to fall into the second category, those who need to learn how to use the AI technology that others have built. These are the folks looking for ways to use AI to build applications such as AI chatbots for their businesses. You don't have to work at a big tech company to work in these jobs. You can work for any company that wants to use and integrate artificial intelligence into their business. Regardless if your goal is to help build or use AI technology, there are three things every student of AI should do if they want to have an edge in a competitive job market. And the first thing is to study Python. This is because most of the examples on how to use AI technology is written in Python code, and it's actually freely available on public repositories like GitHub. Now, when I say study Python, I don't necessarily mean you have to be able to write a lot of Python code. What I've found to be more important is to be able to read Python code written by others. There's actually no need for most developers these days to reinvent the wheel by writing code from scratch and building their own AI models or frameworks. Instead, what you will end up doing most of the time is finding and taking sample code written by others and then editing it and then integrate it into your own projects. But this isn't as easy as it sounds. It takes skills and experience to know which libraries and repositories to even go to, and then to know how to edit the code to make it work in your own environment. You will no doubt get errors when you first try to integrate someone else's code, and it does take skills and experience to know how to resolve them quickly. Now, the Python programming language itself is a high-level language and isn't too hard to learn. Books such as these, Teach Yourself Python in 24 Hours, not to mention many online courses, can help you understand the basics of Python in just a few hours. But the hard part about reading Python code written by others is that the code is often calling libraries and functions written by others, and it's not always clear what they are doing. And don't always expect great documentation every time you try to search on these functions. That's why studying Python actually requires a lot more than reading a book or taking an online course. It requires many hours of deliberate practice and trial and error in integrating other people's code with your own. But the more hours you put in, the better you will become, and the more competitive you will be in the job market. In addition to studying Python, I also recommend you study Whitepapers. I was making this video, say 10, 15 years ago, I might have recommended reading books. But these days, all the latest publications on the latest technologies are published as white papers that are freely available for download on the internet. Now, why white papers? Well, white papers have a lot more technical depth than watching a video. Even if you barely understand half of a white paper, it will stretch your brain and you will be better able to understand the theory behind the code. And by understanding the theory, you will be better at making good design decisions when it comes to choosing models and building your AI applications. There are, of course, lots of white papers out there. But if you only read one white paper, I recommend reading the famous Attention is All You Need white paper, published in 2017 by a group of brilliant researchers from Google and the University of Toronto. This seminal white paper describes the transformer architecture which is behind all the modern generative AI technologies such as ChatGPT. It's a given that you should be able to understand how the transformer architecture works at a high level. And even though there are actually a lot of videos out there and even AI that can explain transformers and other AI concepts in simpler terms, there's no substitute for reading the original white paper if you really want to push yourself and give yourself an edge. Now, one of the main challenges in reading white papers is that they tend to include rigorous mathematical equations and formulas. And this leads me to my third recommendation, and that is to study and review college math. When I say college math, I'm referring to subjects like linear algebra, vector calculus, and probability and statistics. While it's not required that you be really good at math, you at least have an edge if you understand some of the basic math behind AI ML models. No, nobody will likely ask you to solve a matrix multiplication problem or find the derivative of a slope like what might have happened in college. But you may be asked to make good decisions when it comes to choosing code samples and configuring and tuning models. And understanding the math behind the models will help you make better decisions and understand what these AI systems actually can and cannot do. If you want to challenge yourself with math, I recommend you check out this book, Mathematics of Machine Learning. It's a college-level book. I admit I barely could understand half of it, but simply challenging myself has helped me better understand and appreciate the math behind AI. It goes without saying that the job market in tech has gotten a lot more competitive this past year. You won't get ahead just by taking online courses and doing what many others can do. Studying Python code, reading white papers, and understanding advanced college-level math are all challenging, and they take time to become good at them. But if you persevere and can find the time to develop your skills in those areas, you will have an edge over many others in the job market. So, if you're someone looking to learn skills in AI, I hope this video has been helpful as you map out your own strategy for learning. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And don't forget to click subscribe for more videos like this one. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.